Sentences with despite and in spite of. Despite the rain, we went for a hike. They helped them in spite of the difficulties. Despite his injury, he finished the race. In spite of all his faults, everybody likes him. I love her despite her faults. Despite her fear of heights, she climbed to the top of the mountain. I love her in spite of her faults. Samuel still loves him despite he was abandoned by his lover. Despite the traffic, we arrived on time. In spite of they had been training for hours, they lost the football game. Despite the late start, the project was completed ahead of schedule. Despite the rain, we went for a walk. My sister still loves his despite the fact that he left him. Despite his busy schedule, he always finds time to exercise. The young men said that they would do it in spite of all of the difficulties. In spite of being a millionaire, she lives in a very small flat. Despite her fear of heights, she climbed to the top of the mountain. Despite the delay, the project was completed on time. In spite of all the difficulties, they helped us. In spite of the difficulties, we beat the opposing team. Despite the small kitchen, she cooked a delicious meal. Samuel still loves him in spite of he was abandoned by his lover. The crowd stayed calm despite the imminent threat. Samuel still loves him despite he was abandoned by his lover. In spite of all opposition, 2 more nuclear power stations were built. In spite of the pain in his foot, he completed the race incredibly. In spite of her young age, she did a very good job. My sister still loves his in spite of the fact that he left him. In spite of all his setbacks, he remains an optimist. In spite of many obstacles, he refused to give up.